So a Tennessee school is getting some parents very upset.
It is back to school time. You'll see a lot of this.
Very upset already.
It's August 14th.
Apparently, they received a letter. They have canceled all field trips for the upcoming year.
Oh, no.
All field trips canceled. Apparently, it was due to low test scores from the previous year. That's what I'm assuming.
You guys are stupid. You don't get to go anywhere.
Yes.
Just said it nicer than that, I'm sure. But.
Here's one of the parents talking about the being upset.
Okay.
I feel like they learn more from the field trips because they're having fun. It's from Warner Speakman. Fayette County Public Schools field trips canceled. Due to low test scores, Dr. Hamlet has canceled all field trips. They don't have teachers to teach the kids. So how are they going to have higher test scores when half of them, they went a whole year last year, like without a math teacher?
A whole year without a math teacher?
That's what it sounds like. She's basically saying some of the kids didn't even have a math teacher an entire year. Surely they still did math.
I don't know. I know this. Like, if you would ask...
You don't have a math teacher?
You have to do math. You're right. But if you have me and you teaching math, they're not going to learn math nearly as well, right?
Well, you better than me.
I'm pretty good at math.
We did different maths.
We've talked about that, yeah. I had algebras and things, and Chris like, no, I did adding.
I did algebra my junior year.
Did you?
And then I went back to consumer math my senior because, I was there to play sports.
They stuck me in algebra. I tested well, I guess, and they're like, yeah, here you go, smart kid, you go to algebra. But I wasn't on the level with a lot of the rest of the algebra class, Yeah. And if you would have asked me at that time, when I got plugged into algebra in the 7th grade.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even.
Which my parents were like, I didn't take algebra the entire time. I graduated high school, and you have it in 7th grade. And things changed a lot in over the years. But if you would have asked my 7th grade self, okay, no math teacher, but you also get no field trip. Or we bring in a math teacher and you can have a field trip. I'd have said, no math teacher. That's fine. No field trip, no problem. No math teacher.
Really?
If I know I've got a substitute the entire year instead of the guy that taught me math, instead of Mr. Nemo.
Mr. Nemo was your math teacher's name?
Or Nemo. I can't remember.
That
It was
seems
something
made
like,
up.
I swear, he's real.
I'm Mr. Nemo. Did he wear glasses?
Oh, yes.
Yep, see?
He sounded pretty close to what you're saying, too.
I'm Mr. Nemo.
Kinda.
Here's what you do. X plus Y
And it was
equals
that.
Z.
And I could barely, you're 12, 13 years old. I can't even focus on anything at all at that.
Right.
I still can't, but I definitely couldn't at that age. And he shuts the lights off and gets on the projector and says, the square root of this. You know how terrible that was when I was a kid?
Yeah, that would be
If you just
awful.
said, take that guy out of the equation, but no field trip, I would have still signed up for it immediately. I would have been jumping
See,
at that chance.
like my freshman year, I had a coach that taught math.
Oh, coaches don't teach math.
Mine did, or one of our coaches did.
What?
My freshman year, I had basic math my freshman year.
Coaches teach gym and history. Everybody knows it, mostly.
We actually had a history teacher. But a coach taught math, a basic math. Add, subtract, multiply, divide.
He wasn't teaching algebra.
That was my freshman year. I do the basics.
Yeah. Maybe on a rare occasion they'll teach a science class, but very rarely math. Like in low-level science class. I had one coach for that. I never had a coach teach a math class. I had math nerds teach math classes.
Oh.
People that loved math. They
Now-
dreamed about math.
Now, later on, when I did take pre-algebra my sophomore year and then algebra, those two were actual math teachers.
Do you think this is going to be effective? It's basically you're grounded.
Uh-huh.
You're grounded from field trips unless you get better test scores. Do you think this is going to be effective for these kids?
No.
Me neither.
And if it's true that they don't have a teacher, then of course your test scores are going to be low. If you don't have somebody, again, I had a coach that was my freshman basic math. I'm going to tell you now, Again, it's a coach, and if anybody's ever had a coach as a teacher,
It's
now maybe it's different.
Everybody has.
Maybe it's different now. I don't know, but at least in my
I
experience,
doubt it.
they weren't the best teachers.
Maybe they know it
They-
not on the teachers.
They were okay.
Yeah.
But they were not there. They were not there to teach whatever they were teaching. They were there to be a coach.
Generally, yeah. Maybe the superintendent and stuff knows that it's not really the teacher's fault.
Maybe they just can't afford it.
like
They're
the
just
test
using that as an
scores.
excuse.
Oh, when we got the test scores back, Jimmy just made a smiley face out of the bubbles that he was filling in, or this kid didn't fill any of them out. Maybe it's
Okay,
more that.
if it's that bad, then that's something.
And then you got angry mom on TikTok saying,
I think field trips are bad. And the reason I say this, they used to do, I don't know if they even do that now, senior trips and all this other stuff. We were not allowed to take a senior trip.
we didn't take one either.
We had every class prior to mine got to do a senior trip.
Mm.
We raised money, we did all the stuff, and you got to go. We were not allowed to go because they set our class, they looked at us and said, "You guys can't go anywhere because we know probably one of you won't come back."
Yeah.
Because we were a wild crowd, and I'll get that. Looking back on it,
Yeah.
we were a wild.
I felt
class.
the same about our class too.
But they would not allow
The
us to
elementary
go anywhere.
field trips I did get to go on kind of sucked anyway.
People would become pregnant, and certain people wouldn't come back.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why you put the squash on field trips. Man,
Not because of low test scores. Come on. You got to motivate the kids. At least give them a carrot. Hey, if you score better on your math test, we are going to do field trips.
that's right.
But we got to get over at least, 50%.
But Jimmy, you have to fill out actually, answer the questions.
How was Manson? I know Five Finger probably solid as always. I'm curious how Manson was.
None of us have ever seen him. Well, between you and I, we haven't. Talked to several in the building, and that hadn't either. Everybody, it was a mystery to them. They hadn't seen him.
I almost got to see him, but in Springfield.
Uh-huh.
But there was enough of a outcry from church groups and all the other stuff.
Oh,
blocking
really?
And stuff, and it became a chaotic mess that they ended up canceling.
Wow. How
It
long
w-
ago was that?
And I think the city canceled it because of a fear of something.
Huh.
Well, it was back in his heyday,
Okay.
back in his.
I could definitely
when
see
he
it.
was peaking as far as he is the anti.
And you probably have some big, powerful
Well,
churches there,
I went and saw
too.
Kiss there, and there was church groups
Yeah. That makes sense.
picketing and all this other stuff back then.
Yeah.
But the Manson thing, the city, I think, even shut it down because there was a chance of problems.
Huh.
So he spits a lot, huh?
Huh.
I know some singers do that, especially when they do the guys that do the more the growl
Mm.
and the heavy stuff. They'll do a lot because it builds up.
Get those loogies out.
Yeah, you build up loogies. Be kind of gross on stage.
It
trying
would.
to spit all
Yeah,
over.
you
the
probably
stage.
don't want to see what a stage looks like actually
Yeah.
up there after it's all.
That would suck
said
for
and
the
done.
Five Finger guys coming back out, and there's Manson spit all over the
slip
stage.
on the Manson spit.
Could be why they also. I know part of it's acoustics, but maybe put those rugs out there because I know those are fresh.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm not stepping on
Yeah,
Manson spit.
could be that.
Yeah, that is going viral. I've seen that a couple times.
What's up?
Corey Feldman.
What?
Is Corey Feldman trolling us with that awful guitar solo that went viral?
I haven't seen it.
He plays a guitar solo where he's shredding, and there's even one guy that was taking a video, and he's like, "Oh man, who knew that Corey could shred so much?" And he's doing it, but I've seen probably 4 or 5 guitarists that perform, and they're like watching him, and they're like,
"That doesn't match."
They go, "Ha!" They go, "Those aren't the notes."
Yeah,
those aren't the notes.
He's just pretending.
And then they're watching it even more, and they go, "Oh, he's got this button, I guess, on the board, on the thing, and also on his guitar." And he goes, "Now listen, he's doing this. Now listen." All of a sudden, you'll hear this reverb thing. He's hitting something on his thing, turning it back on. And when he hits it, it's a different tone and a sound from his guitar, where he does hit a couple things, and then he turns it off, and then he turns it back on, where it's a recording track. And they were just like, "Those aren't the notes."
I hadn't seen that.
If he go now, one thing I haven't seen, and I wish somebody would do it, is they would watch what he's doing and then go, "This is what it would actually sound like if we did those."
Yeah. Probably sound like garbage.
Or it might be close, but it's not. They were like, it doesn't match up.
Yeah.
And it's not just, as I said, one. It's multiple, like, people that play guitar that are instructors and stuff. They're like, he's not playing that.
Yeah, you can't fake it. People, some people know.
Yeah, but if you also watch what he does, it's kind of like.
No, I don't follow Corey Feldman, and I don't care to.
It's just,
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
I never get fed any Corey Feldman stuff, ever. Not once.
It's kind of funny.
I bet it is.
And that's where a lot of people have asked, is he doing it on purpose as a more of a spoof, or is he really trying?
Don't know. There's Fred Durst personally inspects Corey Feldman's guitar solo. Is that Fred now?
Who?
Fred Durst?
That is Fred Durst.
Man, I haven't seen a picture of Fred in a while.
They came out with that video, Dad or whatever, and that's kind of what he just.
He's got a Santa Claus beard.
Yep.
I watched this video yesterday, most of it. And I've seen these things before. But it was kind of like kids listening to new metal stuff. Which most of it was older than them, And there was a Limp Bizkit track in there. And they all knew Fred Durst's name, but they didn't know what he looked like.
Oh.
It's like, oh yeah, it's a name we all know.
We know the band.
We know
his name.
We know his name. I didn't know that's what Fred Durst looked like.
Oh.
It's like, oh, okay.
Well, now that you say it, once they kind of went away.
Yeah, he's not in the spotlight.
He was never in the spotlight.
That's true.
That's true. For years.
Yeah. So kids they're like teenagers.
I know what Nookie is.
They didn't
I know his name.
They actually didn't know the song. They just knew because Nookie was exactly what they played. And they didn't know it. The funny thing is, a lot of the kids liked it. A few songs, they go, yeah, I don't care about it. But most of them, and then they would know a lot of the songs. They just didn't realize what they were, Yeah. They knew they put Linkin Park in that category, which, I mean, maybe. Then, and some other things. They knew a lot of it. They knew, Papa Roach, Last Resort, or they knew whatever. They didn't know what Fred Durst looked like. And I thought there was a time in our lives where everybody knew what Fred Durst looked like. Yeah.
Woody Harrelson at one time, I think even today would still be cool to hang out with. I think at one time it would have been really. On this same podcast that I was telling you about yesterday where Flea
with Flea
said, hey, remember that time we snow skied? I videotaped us snow skiing naked down a mountain, and they couldn't remember what mountain or where they even were.
Yeah.
And Flea even goes, I think it was Utah.
Yeah.
And they go, it could have been.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even remember what state they were in.
Yeah, well.
They said once they played hooky off of Cheers, and then they went and did mushrooms.
I think Woody would have been hard to keep up with at one time.
Definitely.
But it's so funny for what he generally played at that time, too. Like, especially the Cheers days. I don't know that most of America would have seen that guy on TV and thought that guy parties his ass
Right.
off. He just plays this dumb country bumpkin kind of kid sort of thing.
I guess Woody, of course, chilling back. Ted started freaking out a little bit. And Ted says, quote, "You spent the next 45 minutes poking me about every minute or two and saying, breathe." Because I would literally forget to breathe. I felt like I was dying, and then you would poke me.
Ted Danson?
Yes. And then you would poke me.
Breathe.
Breathe. Thank you.
You're turning blue again, Ted.
Ted calls it the worst 4 hours of his life.
Yeah.
And he never did it again.
And I've heard some really horror stories about mushrooms.
Breathe.
Yeah. I can see that being a thing.
Yeah, that's not good. You just forget to breathe.
Yeah. I've heard some real nightmare stories. At least he had Woody there. An experienced, seasoned veteran that can help you through it.
Oh, he's freaking out.
He's not breathing.
Oh, man, he's not breathing. Breathe.
Breathe, Ted.
Cool. All right.
I'll come back and do this in another minute.
Yep. Probably should breathe again. Breathe.
It's who I want around if I'm going to eat a handful of mushrooms. Somebody that is prepared to help me.
Oh, there's the commercial. He's all dressed in, oh my gosh. I'm not even listening to it. That looks hilarious.
This layoff story is kind of weird.
Will Levis, he's a Tennessee Titans quarterback. He is back in the news with his mayonnaise.
Yeah.
The love of mayonnaise. Matter of fact, he inspired, he where it all started, he did a mayonnaise in coffee. He always apparently drank mayonnaise in coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That's instead of creamer, he used mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm. Which inspired us to actually do the same thing. So we did this
On the air.
a couple of years ago on the air when Will was in college. He's now a professional
Yes.
quarterback. And we actually won an award
Yeah.
for our video of putting mayonnaise in coffee.
Yeah.
At the
Won an award.
Missouri Broadcasters Association. We were nominated for an award for our mayonnaise
and
in
won
coffee.
first place.
And we won first place. Thanks to
the whole state.
we would have never even done that if Will Levis hadn't put mayonnaise in his coffee. We'd never debated that.
Right. So we thank you, Will.
Yeah.
Well, he is back, and it begs the question, have you ever had a coworker come back from lunch
Mm-hmm.
smelling distinctively of mayonnaise, and you thought, wow, that smells so good?
Not one time.
Well, Hellman's is now partnered with Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis,
Uh-huh.
and they will be releasing Will Levis number 8.
Okay.
It is a fragrance based on the smell of Hellman's mayonnaise.
Okay.
They say the scent combines hints of tart lemon,
Okay.
coffee, vanilla, a whisper of parsley, and musk, and something they're calling mayonnaise accord.
What is that?
I don't know. They're calling it that. So I can't because of musk. I'm allergic to musk. I'll quit breathing. I literally quit breathing with musk. If you want to kill me one day, just spray some musk in here.
Don't tell
I'll
everybody how to kill you.
I'll quit breathing.
Why you do that?
I was just.
Don't give your enemies the secret.
I don't want them to use it on me.
That's you're telling them to.
Oh, I guess it backfired. We'll supposedly work with both Hellman's and an unnamed perfume company to develop it. And yes, there is a reason it's mayo. And that goes back to his love of.
Will loves mayonnaise.
Yeah. And he did a commercial. It's very hilarious.
It is funny.
It is it is funny. It's very spoofy like, but it's real.
Yeah.
You can apparently buy it right now. WillLevisNumber8.com. It is not a stunt, they said. It is a real fragrance. It's only $8 a bottle.
Yeah.
It's number 8, $8 a bottle. So that's pretty cheap, I think, for cologne.
It was very cheap for cologne.
It was sold out. We just checked. It's sold out, but they said they will be releasing it in batches.
Okay.
So they said, come back, check back, because we will have more once we develop more of it and make more of it.
You really only need a batch or two. I don't think that you got your publicity out of it now. Here we are talking about it.
Yeah, and it's a silly. That's why more people are going to buy it. So then you create some more.
Yeah, maybe.
You sell out of that. You might only have 8 bottles, but hey,
Yeah, you make it 8
hey,
bottles
we
at
made
a time.
more.
Mhm.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
And you make more, and you sell it.
What a wild success. We sold the whole 20 bottles of
Yeah.
it or something, yeah.
But they made a silly commercial out of it, which also then reminds us that we actually created our own. Thanks to you,
Uh-huh.
we did a Mad Lib. We asked you. Because what
The Will Levis spot, his commercial checks almost all the boxes.
almost all the boxes of the perfect cologne, perfume, or parfum.
Or they call it de toilette.
Toilette.
I don't know why. It never makes me think of good smells. But I think it was around the holiday time a year
Put
or two
lait
ago.
in front of it.
Yeah.
It works.
Le de toilette.
Le toilette.
Around the holidays, we after seeing a lot of the perfume commercials, the cologne commercials, we realized a pattern. So there are a few like key things, and you could just Mad Lib them, and it was like an action.
Mm-hmm.
You had to. They were usually doing something. In this one, Will's like running running the 40 or something. There's a setting, and his seems to be in the clouds, I think.
Yeah, it was clouds and everything's white, hence mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Celebrity, you plug in the celebrity. Will Levis
Levis.
is the celebrity. The only thing he's lacking that most of them did have is an animal.
He did not have an animal.
Usually there's a random animal. Doesn't make sense why
Should
the
have been a
animal's there.
white owl.
Yeah, there should have been something like that.
White owl would have been good.
White owl would have been good.
Or a white moose.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a white version of something that isn't usually,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we We asked you at that time when we did some Mad Lib stuff, and you guys filled them all in. You did an awesome job with that too. So I guess we'll just get to
If you don't remember, we created our own perfume commercial from your suggestion.
it. Had a white variety to it too. We present to you White Panda.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Oh, it's amazing how much fun you can have if you've got the balls.
From the Chris Purple Haze and Bobby Show collection, White Panda. That's great.
I think people would buy that right now.
I think they would.
Clearly, we had Betty White as the spokesman back then. It's hard to do today, I guess.
Yeah.
Have to find a new one.
Yeah, but there you go. There was our Mad Lib cologne, and I think it matches all the cologne things. And I don't think I really want to smell like mayonnaise though.
Well, I'd give it a shot. I don't really know if it would attract anyone, but I mean, I probably inadvertently smelled like mayonnaise before anyway.
Right. That's what maybe.
What?
Yeah. I wonder. Put my shoes back on.
Were your shoes off?
Yeah.
You go barefoot in here?
Not
mean,
barefoot.
socks.
I got socks on. I'm not gonna go barefoot in here. Are you kidding me? I'm not a crazy person. Not in this studio.
I don't go barefoot anywhere. I most of the time have some socks or something on, even at home.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't have. I'm barefoot at home.
I don't mind. Actually, kind of like it in the grass and stuff if I'm outside or whatever playing with kids. I don't barefoot it. Well, I guess once I take a shower, I don't put socks back on. But then I'll put some like house shoes on or something.
Yeah, you should have seen the first time I said I got to put my shoes back on. Bobby looked at me with this really weird, confused face, going,
I didn't know they were off.
You take your shoes off? And I go, yeah, a lot of times.
I didn't know.
These are a little harder to put back on. They're slip-ons, but
Yeah.
like the Hey Dudes are awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I can do it without you even knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah.
He's like, I've been wondering what that smell is this whole time.
You must not have too stinky of feet because I've never known.
Take a shower every morning, so I should be good. It's not the end of the day. At least if we did afternoons, you might be in trouble.
A little more stinky feet. This is really cool. I think it deserves a mention, too. Some of our guys are on the honor flight today.
Oh, yes.
And I saw some pictures.
Let me see if for some reason.
Did Ted go as like a chaperone?
Yes. They're all media chaperone. They kind of
Still help out and
they still help out. Some.
Cool. Good.
Nope. I didn't get an email saying I'm not coming in. Let me double check on that.